It's Memorial Day weekend, and something we should do every day. We should thank our veterans, their families, active military, their families, fire, police, first responders, and their families for all they do for us to allow us to do the things that we do. I thank you and I salute you. What's up, everybody? Good morning. It is Sunday. It is Bubba's Bottom Line, and of course, it is May the 24th. And I do salute the military and all the first responders, fire, police, and their families, because without you, I couldn't be here doing what I do. So, from the bottom of my heart, I send you my thanks and my gratitude for making this all possible. In the meantime, here we are in the middle of a political mess. We're in the middle of a virus mess, and we're in the middle of a mess. And of course, unfortunately, the virus and the lives of people are being taken into a political play now by, unfortunately, the usual suspects, which we won't even name. But again, it's becoming obviously a much bigger issue as we see the country start to reopen, and which is a good thing. I mean, again, there is a cost of lives, and then there's a cost of lives. And of course, the destruction that was caused throughout the entire pandemic has been more perpetrated by the gang with Pelosi and Schumer and those guys as they continue to keep the major states closed. And I mean, I'm telling you, we need to get open. We've got too many people losing their business, their lives, regular health care, and the only way to go is to go forward now, and we need to move on. But again, that's what we see. But of course, as we look at the economy and of course the continued rally, the opening of the government or the opening of the different states has been better. We are seeing some more activity, which is a good thing, which we need to happen. We need to see a lot of things happen to at least get partially back on track. We will not be getting back to normal or what we know as a normal. We're not going to see, full stadiums full of people watching sporting events, concerts, theater yet. Okay. It is something that will probably not happen until there is an actual vaccine. But again, at least we can get partially up and running and keep people working, get our suppliers, back to doing their thing, getting farmers, moving their goods. I mean, again, we build up, we have destructed so many businesses. And, is it China that intentionally caused the virus? I don't know if it was China intentionally. Would it surprise me? No, it would not surprise me in the least. Okay. I mean, certainly it's one hell of a way to have what we'll call, chemical warfare, but again, am I outright blaming him? I could not do that. I don't have enough facts to do that. I think there's a lot of things that are suspect that say that they did. Certainly we know with the new Cold War or the old Cold War, right, that they certainly would like to take over as the world superpower, which I don't believe they can. I still believe that the United States of America is the place, and nobody's dethroning us quite so quickly, even with all of their nonsense. But again, I would think that they have a lot of, if they didn't do it intentionally, they do have a lot of responsibility to what is going on here. Okay, and that's a fact. Okay, they certainly were irresponsible if not done intentional. And I think that's a problem. And of course, you are seeing much of this play out in China today because they're falling apart. They're in major danger. And of course, their debt to GDP ratio is 317%. Okay. Now, again, we're in danger at the same type of economical situation, but theirs is worse and more dire. and they're in danger of losing a lot of their business that helped grow and build that country. So again, you can look at a lot of different ways, and of course, those that want that China audience, Hollywood and the movie producers, and continue to kowtow and not put in certain scenes into a movie or whatever because they're afraid of losing those billions of people as an audience. Again, this is what you're fighting, right? You're always fighting against the almighty dollar. So as the actors and the actresses and people like that continue to come out and say, we are not being created equally and everybody should make the same amount of money and we should have socialism, those are the same ones that behind the scenes are making adjustments for what? The almighty dollar, okay? So again, let's not be fooled by the strength and the power of money, okay? Do you think that it's only the capitalists that are pushing up the stock market today? Do you think it's only the capitalists that are? Look, the money is going to grow from all sorts of places, okay? And again, just remember who wants these new acts that create more equal stuff and want to destroy capitalism. They're the ones mostly that already have the money. Okay, they're the ones that made their money already. So why wouldn't they want to now equal the playing field because they've got the edge in the playing field already? Again, there's so many issues going on here that are illogical. Okay, but again, when you continue to press down and try to keep people down, okay, you then create this breed. You can go back in history, and I'm not going to mention names, but you can look at many of the stories of why there was revolutions and why there was major revolts and why we saw so much destruction in other areas over the past. That this time is not going to be different. This is like any market. This won't be different. Okay, there's going to be an uprising, which you're starting to see, and of course, it is something that's very serious. And of course, the more you strip away from people, the more they're going to want what they had, right? And of course, you've got one of the number one culprits in here which is Soros, who is now proposing a bond that is at negative rates that never expires. Now, what kind of person who would put their money into a bond, a perpetual bond that has no expiration date and no interest rate? Okay. And of course, they're trying to hold everybody hostage now by creating such a ridiculous product. Okay. But you watch, look at, nobody thought there could be negative rates. We've got negative rates, and negative rates are threatened everywhere. Okay. So again, the more we let pass by, okay, the more people let go and just move on, the bigger the problem is going to be. Okay. I mean, again, these are not complicated measures. These are very simple. Why would you do that? Why would you sell out your soul for that? And I think but these are what some of those folks want you to do, okay? Because that's just another way to knock away your freedoms, okay? And I think that's what you look at is and this is not what we fought for, okay? We've gone to war for less. So let's keep an eye on the ball here as we watch this. But in the meantime, Americans are struggling. 9% of mortgages are in forbearance already. And that's only just begun. And this debt bubble is continuing to grow, with bursting sides on it. And eventually it will all burst out. And again, if you don't think that the banks are over leveraged again, which I said from the beginning, okay, I believe they are, and I believe it's going to get worse there, which could create a bigger problem, all right? Because again, you've got these small countries that use their oil as their collateral, okay, and they can't pay their notes back, okay? Now, we know how the system works. I mean, the banks have lent out so much, and because of that phony way they get to lend out 10 to 1 at least, and that's if they have enough in reserve. We've got So they don't need everybody to pay them back. They just need about 30% to pay them to not lose any money. And what'll happen now is the deals will start. They'll start cutting down payments and stretching it out, and then some will just go belly up, and that'll be the end. But that does not resolve the problem that the banks, I think, are in trouble again. Okay, again, it will not come out until it's too late. This is one of the problems when you allow the Federal Reserve to continue to push this free money system, to blow up the money supply and continue to pour in these dollars, okay, trillions and trillions and trillions like it was nothing, okay. That's what you end up with when you end up with these problems, and that's how these problems are born, okay. So if you think it's over, I think you've got some issues. I mean, look at Hertz, bankrupt, okay. Again, a great American company, gone, okay. So when you look at all this stuff and you relate it back to, what's going on, does this not have the signature and the footprints of the deep state behind it? And I think this was the very thing that President Trump has been trying to break up. And I think he's done a pretty good job so far. I mean, Biden has been exposed for what he is, which is first of all, I can't believe the man ever got to be the first vice president the first time. I mean, to me, he's about 3 light bulbs short of 60 watts. So, again, I don't understand. I mean, to me, it's like talking to a rock. But again, in the meantime, supposedly he's got a lead in the polls, and hey, whatever, polls are polls. Let's see how it ends up when we get to the voting booth. Okay, I don't really put much in polls regardless. Okay, because again, it is what it is, and we'll see in November what it ends up being. But in the meantime, the situation shows that there was something that did go on in Ukraine. I mean, again, there was never a surprise, but all these bad deals throughout the world that have been made were made for money. Okay, so we go back to that evilness of money. Now, again, I have nothing wrong with money. I think that it's a great thing. I think everybody should be able to earn what they do. Athletes, actors, whatever you can earn is what you can get, because that's a true free market that allows you to earn what you can get. So I have no issue with what anybody wants to earn or what they can earn. What I do have a problem with is when they're directly stealing it from you and me. Okay, and that's where I think the deep state comes in. I think that's why there's so much cover up, and that's why I think you're going to see a big explosion into a lot of these issues. Now, can we end it? Listen, it's been going on for a lot longer than probably most of us have been around. All right. So again, I don't know that it's going to end anytime soon, but certainly the fact that we can expose some of it and bring some to the forefront, and we can actually see, I think that might be something that might help get the ball rolling. I mean, Shifty Shift and some of the others. And again, I'm not blaming. This is not just a left issue. So let's, this is a both party issue. This is the whole system, which is basically broken down. Because as we look at this, okay, now there are some big rumors about how much Congress got as a raise. Some of it's been true. It hasn't really been proven true or false yet. So I'm not going to get into that part of it. But I do want to say, I want to ask the question, how many paychecks did Congress miss throughout this whole thing? When they were sitting home, they were still getting paid. Now, again, to me, not only do they have better health care, not only have everything else, but now they still get paid, when they're not working. So I worry about those things, okay? And again, whether or not they got a raise, I don't know. They don't deserve one, but if they got one, they got one. But, the problem when they make these deals, if I said many, many times before, they don't have you and me in their minds. They're figuring out where they can skim for themselves. Okay. This is what it's about. This is, as they say, the sausage making, but this is what was able to build the deep state. This is what was able to do, because again, it comes back down to money. Okay. So the next time you listen to the far, far left, the socialists of the world that rail on money, okay, just check their bank accounts and let me know, okay, how they're doing. Let me know how much money they spent on lawyers, accountants to protect all that money so that they could go then join this movement to destroy the rest of Americans. Think about that on this Memorial Day holiday. In the meantime, again, I want to thank and salute military, veterans, active, families, first responders, fire, police, and everybody who takes care of us, who allows us to do the things we do. That's why there is no country like this country. Okay, throughout all the troubles and trials, there is nothing like the United States of America, and we have to keep it that way. And that means there's a lot of tough steps that need to be done. We're going to step by here for a break, and we'll be back with more of Bubba's Bottom Line after the break. This is Todd Bubba Horwitz. We're coming right back. All right, kids. So here we are. It's a nice holiday weekend, and we've got our great new commodities report from Andy Heck, Techmental. He is the #1 writer for Seeking Alpha. At one time was the biggest silver trader in the world, and of course traveled worldwide. In fact, we were talking last night about his private jet trips into areas that nobody would want to go. But he is a commodities expert, and he has been in the business for 40 years. And if you want to check out his report, which is unbelievably detailed, it's $100 a month, $800 annual. You can go to bubbatrading.com and check it out. In the meantime, don't forget about our brokerage partners. CTG, they do just such a good job for us. Okay, all the letter direction trading. I get so many glowing emails how happy everybody is with them. And of course, they handle our products, and they've got a few nice ones of their own. And of course, Tradier, who is, again, Tradier, $10 a month. They've got great customer service. They're on top of it. They take care of business, and they work perfectly with our software for hedging. So you want the information on either one of them, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And of course, as we end what would have been the school year, as we get ready and prepare for the new one, we are, looking for some help with our high school program so we can continue to build it and grow it back. And of course, that would be at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading, and that's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. In the meantime, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and, of course, myself, Todd Bubba Horwitz. Welcome back. And of course, this is Bubba's Bottom Line. And again, as I said earlier, what we should do every day, but today, is to thank all of the veterans, military active, police, fire, first responders, and all those that make our lives possible to get through. Thank you. I salute you, and I appreciate you. In the meantime, markets were, soaring, right? New highs, breakout. The NASDAQ continued to break out. Dow, S&P, Russell breaking out. And again, we said we were in consolidation, and we've also said, and we remain long these markets. Okay, again, do I like it? Not so much. But am I going to change it? Why? Again, this is what we always go into. Price action in markets versus an opinion. Our opinions, including mine. Now, I have a great opinion in a short-term read, okay, and over the next day or two. But even then, do you really think you can tell what the next trend is going to be? Did anybody really think that we'd see this monster rally with all the bad news we know is coming? But of course, that goes back to what we talk about often, which is market expectation. Okay, market expectation is prices in a lot of things ahead of time. So again, we look at the situation, okay, and again, the bottom line we can look for is the price action. The markets are going higher. We're long. What could be better? Okay. Now, again, would I sell? No, I'm not selling. I will sell when our algorithm turns to be a sale. Again, I'm not as comfortable, certainly at these levels, knowing how bad everything is. But again, money, as I said earlier, it's money. It's about the money. And the markets are being driven because of the money. That's where people are making money. So they're going to continue to push. Now, again, when the algorithms change, I'll be right there changing. But for now, we stay long all the major indexes. The metals market, interesting action last week. Platinum and silver really took off, and gold was kind of, choppy, a little bit lower for the week. But overall, it looks very solid. They look like they want to continue to go higher. I don't see any reason to believe that is to be different. We are still long, of course, gold, silver, and platinum. And again, I see no reason that we won't be long there. Natural gas is kind of choppy. We're short natural gas. Cotton has been solid after hitting that fifth level a while ago, and we've been long cotton since. The bond markets a little bit lower, but again, the 30-year treasuries are still straight across 178 to 182. You can look at it. If you look at the chart, and again, that's obviously the sign of interest rates. And of course, we know the Fed funds is priced in negative rates already. And again, I don't know that we'll get to negative, but in the meantime, we're long the bonds. We're long the long bond. We're long bonds until we're not. Okay. I hate them. Okay. But again, as I say often, I'm not going to get in the way. Crude oil. All right. We reversed last week, obviously in crude, and of course, crude has had some gallops forward. Again, I don't like the action there either. And I'd rather be a seller right now than a buyer. But again, I'm going to follow the algorithm. I don't dispute what the algorithm says. Now, of course, we could see, a dramatic turnaround. But again, we'll have time to reverse if that is the case. In the meantime, right now, it's going higher. So why would I expect different? Okay. Remember, you cannot fight overall price action. And if you do, well, shame on you, because you're really only giving away your own money, okay? And where am I at? I'm lost, okay? Copper remains in the choppy formation. The dollar continues to be stuck between 99 and 101, okay? If you've watched it, each and every time it got to 101, it got clocked back down to 99, gets 99, it starts to rally back up. It's going to move one way or the other. And when that happens, we'll see. And that's my point, is let the price action tell you. Why should you try to tell the market? Grains, it's tragic. First of all, it's taking every ounce of my being not to be jumping in and buying them. Okay. But I'm not. I'd like to. But we're still short. Now, they are looking better. Okay. But they're really just not being able to break out. Now, I think the partial opening of the economy and getting some of the things flowing, the more activity will create more. So I think that will help. But again, we do remain short them. I do believe there's a much bigger move to the upside. I mean, certainly, I think if you say, okay, which is it? A big move is coming. Which way is it more likely? To me, it would be up, of course. So again, because we're down at such ridiculously low levels to begin with. So we'll continue to stay short, but we're ready. I'm ready, willing, and able to turn them around. And of course, the meats were long across the board. And feeder cattle struggled a little bit last week. Fat cattle, live cattle continued to rally, and hogs. Again, they're kind of all over the place, sloppy, but they're looking stronger, okay, and looking better. And I do think that the entire agricultural complex is looking better, and I am looking for higher prices. So I think that we will see some good things happening. But overall in the markets, again, it's going to be a quiet week this week again, right? Volumes continue to fall down. Volatility is although the VIX says 30, it's really probably trading about 12. There is no liquidity. The lack of liquidity drives prices higher. The unrealistic margin charges that the brokers, the FCMs, and the exchanges have all panicked. Okay, and they're panicking. Why? Because they raised their margins so far that the small trader cannot get in. And why did they do that? Because they're more interested in controlling your cash and keeping you out of the market so they can continue to collect the minimal overnight rate that they're collecting. But again, this is a game when they feel risk is higher, like they don't want you in. Okay, so they're basically stopping the liquidity by raising the margins, which keeps a bigger majority out. It's really not about their protection, except they want to make sure they keep you and your money so they can continue to collect on the interest rates. Okay, again, it's a funny game that goes on that they play, but the raising of these margins, which are already starting to come back down again, is really just a way to create illiquidity. Okay, which then creates bigger moves. Okay, with less people involved. It's a whole vicious cycle that it shows you that they panic and they puke. Okay, again, this goes back to you can look at their big two panics. Just a month or so ago, which was the NASDAQ, which is getting clobbered. Now it's soaring. Okay, and oil, which was clobbered. Now it's soaring. So again, think about their logic. They panic just like anybody else panics. Okay, so it's our job to worry about the price, and not worry about what they're doing. But again, it does create some issues because it does eliminate you from markets. So again, we've got another. I don't look for much change this week. In action, it should be quiet. It'll be still lack of liquidity. But again, the volatility is going to continue. So again, we'll continue to it used to be there'd be a lot of people still on vacation for the rest of the week, but again, with the lockdown, I don't know. And again, of course, we've got to get more of these states open. I mean, Illinois is, as of now, is still closed. New York is still closed. California is still closed. Michigan, I think they're talking about June 12th now. I mean, are you kidding me? Really? And I think that's the bigger issue in these models right now, is that you're losing sight of the overall damage you're doing and the lives you're going to lose. You're going to lose more lives from being shut down than you will ever lose from the coronavirus. I know the death count is higher here, but the number count is not, and than the flu. And again, part of it's because we have no real solution yet, but I think we're going to get closer. And I think the other partial is we just need to get things going, and you have to take your chances. You can't keep the whole world in incubation. So in the meantime, again, markets are markets. We don't try to predict them. We play the price action that comes along with them. And of course, for all of my veterans and their families, active military and their families, police and fire and first responders, I salute you. I thank you. We're going to step out here for a break. We'll be right back with one more of my commentary right here on Bubba's Bottom Line. Be right back. So kids, hey, remember, you got two great brokerage partners that are there to help you. Okay. And again, that's only if you need them. There's a lot of brokers out there, and we're certainly not telling you to go to one or the other. We're just saying that we use, as one of ours for letter direction trading in our model futures and commodities. We use CTG Group. Okay. CTG will take care of you. They got great service. You call them, they pick up the phone. This is not the voicemail jail stuff. Okay. They got great products themselves. And of course, for equities, we use Trader, which ties right into our hedging software. Again, $10 a month flat. How can you beat it? And of course, you call them up, they answer the phone. So that's one of the big things that I always look for, especially in an industry of money, is if you got a problem, you want the other side to answer the phone. And of course, you can get information on both those at bubbatrading.com. You can email me, at bubba@bubbatrading.com. And of course, our brand new commodities report called Technomental, written by Andy Hecht, the number one writer for Seeking Alpha, at one point, the number one silver trader in the world. But Andy is unbelievable. He's part of the Bubba Trading team now. And of course, his report is phenomenal, detailed. Wednesday updates, Friday summary, quarterly reports, just spectacular. So you want to check it out, just email me at bubba@bubbatrading.com or go to bubbatrading.com and sign up. It's $100 a month or $800 a year. And of course, don't forget about our high school program at Patreon, patreon.com/Bubba Trading. That's patreon.com/Bubba Trading. In the meanwhile, let's get back to Bubba's Bottom Line and my commentary. Welcome back on this Memorial Day weekend. And of course, every week I got to say something. I always have some commentary, and maybe I've made it all the way through. But in the meantime, I do have some specific things that are concerning to me. And of course, obviously it's got to do with the media. And it's not only the left media. I mean, again, when did it become that we had a left media and a right media instead of somebody just reporting the actual news? Okay. I find that troubling. I find it troubling that you can only listen to one or the other because depending on the point of view you want to hear. But I also have an issue with somebody, for example, Mr. Cavuto on Fox, who says, I'm not biased one way or the other, but yet he's always refuting whatever the president says today. To me, that sounds like a bias. I mean, this last week, with President Trump and the hydrochloroquine, okay, and they had one doctor on said it was fine, and then of course we had to see a rebuttal on Cavuto's show. Again, to me it makes no sense. I mean, let's be together, okay, which is what built this country in the first place. So what happened to straight news? Okay, not biased news from Fox or from CNBC or CNN. What happened to just reporting the news? Business news, yeah. Or you want to have an opinion? Hey, we got plenty of opinion shows. But really what's happened is all the shows are opinion. And of course, what happened to the opinion on Tara Reid, right? With the sexual abuse from Joe Biden. I mean, I don't know if he did it or not. I'm not saying he did or he didn't. I'm just saying I remember the outrage in the past on these cases, but suddenly because it's the Democratic vice president candidate or the vice president who's running for president, there's crickets. Okay, and they're bullying. It sounds like Hillary Clinton's involved here as she covered up for Bill for all those years and bullied all those poor women, okay, into submission so they never reported them. I mean, again, this is the problem with the double standard of the media and the way things are reported. And so instead of getting just the straight news, we get a bunch of poppycock. Okay. And to me, it's kind of ridiculous, and it's really not what this country deserves. Everybody, have a great Memorial Day weekend. I always thank you for being a part of the show. And of course, again, I want to send my greatest thanks and appreciation to the military, the veterans, active duty, police, fire, first responders. If it wasn't for you, I couldn't do what I do. Thanks, everybody. Have a great Memorial Day weekend. We'll see you later.